Remember that drone strike in Syria a few months back, the one everyone was talking about? Because
Yeah,
it took out like a high-value target with pinpoint accuracy?
absolutely. Yeah, it was a remarkable display of technology.
Well, that's what this whole deep dive is about, how drone warfare has gone from these shaky, grainy cameras in the sky to, well, something straight out of a Tom Clancy novel.
Right.
And a big part of that shift is fiber optic technology.
That's right.
So for a long time, drones were limited by their communication systems.
Yeah, vulnerable to hacking, prone to lag, limited bandwidth. You can imagine how those are kind of deal breakers in a high-stakes situation, like, a military operation.
No kidding. Like
Yeah,
it's like trying to win a video game with dial-up internet.
right.
So how does fiber optics change the game? Well,
Well,
I mean, most people, myself included, when I hear fiber optics, I think super fast downloads, streaming movies. How does that translate to the battlefield?
it all boils down to light, really.
No.
Fiber optics use pulses of light to transmit data through these incredibly thin glass fibers. And because light travels so much faster than electrical signals, you get insane speeds and a much, much larger bandwidth.
Okay, so we're talking light speed communication. Literally.
Essentially, yes. But it's not just about speed. Fiber optic cables are also incredibly difficult to tap into, making them vastly more secure than traditional wireless communication.
So imagine you're a general, right? And you've got this drone, and it's feeding you crystal clear video from a battlefield thousands of miles away, with virtually no delay and zero chance of the enemy intercepting it.
Right.
That's got to be a game changer in terms of like strategy and decision
Yeah,
making.
it completely transforms the way wars are fought.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. Real-time information is king, in any conflict, but especially in modern warfare. And with fiber optic drones, gone are the days of grainy images and those delayed signals.
So walk me through this. What are some of the ways this technology is actually being used on the battlefield? What's the advantage of having a fiber optic cable stretching all the way from, say, a command center in Nevada to a drone flying over, well, wherever it needs to go?
Well, let's start with intelligence gathering,
Okay.
or ISR, as it's known in military circles. Intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance.
Okay, break that down for me.
Okay. So imagine you need eyes on a target, right?
Yeah.
But the area is too dangerous to risk sending in a pilot, a manned aircraft. So a fiber optic drone can fly into that hot zone, and it can send back crystal clear video, thermal images, even detailed sensor readings.
Mm.
And because the connection is fiber optic, you're not just seeing what's happening, you're seeing it in real time with this incredible fidelity. It's like having a live, high-definition window right into the heart of the action.
So it's not just about having more information, it's about having better, faster information.
Exactly.
That's got to be like huge for making strategic decisions.
It is.
Yeah.
And it dramatically reduces the risk of misunderstandings, misinterpretations,
Yeah.
which can be the difference between, a successful mission and a disastrous mistake.
Right, right. Okay, that makes sense for intelligence gathering. But what about actual combat situations? How does this fiber optic connection change the game when it comes to, say, engaging the enemy?
Well, for one thing, it allows for an unprecedented level of precision in strikes. Think back to that operation in Syria you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Latency, that tiny delay we've all experienced with, say, video calls, can be a matter of life and death in a combat situation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Fiber optic connections all but eliminate that lag, allowing for incredibly precise actions, even in these highly dynamic situations.
Wow. So a fiber optic drone could theoretically take out a specific target, like a missile launcher on a rooftop, while minimizing the risk of collateral damage.
That's the idea.
That's incredible, but also a little unnerving, isn't it?
Sure,
The level of precision we're talking about here.
it's a double-edged sword, no doubt. But the technology itself is neutral. It's up to us as a society to decide how it's used, what limitations we need to impose.
That's a whole other deep dive waiting to happen. Okay. So we've got better intel, more precise strikes. What else? What other advantages do these fiber optic drones bring to the battlefield? We've been talking about this fiber optic cable as like a superpower, but even superheroes have their weaknesses, right? I mean, there's got to be a trade-off somewhere.
There always is.
Yeah.
In this case, the very thing that makes these drones so powerful, that physical connection, also creates vulnerability.
Right.
Imagine a scenario where the drone needs to operate beyond the cable's reach, or the cable gets severed during a mission. Suddenly you've lost your advantage.
It's like having a super fast race car chained to a post.
Right.
So what happens then? Does the drone just become, like, useless?
Not necessarily. There are backup systems, of course, but it does highlight the inherent limitation of these tethered drones, compared to their fully wireless counterparts.
Right, right. Okay, that makes sense. What about the cost factor, though? I mean, this level of technology can't be cheap.
Yeah.
Is this something only, like, a few countries can even afford to develop and deploy?
That's a critical question. And the answer is, unfortunately, yes. The research, development, maintenance of fiber optic drone technology, it requires significant financial resources. It's a high bar for entry, one that could very well widen the gap between the military superpowers and smaller nations.
So what does that mean for the future of warfare, then? Are we headed towards a world where only a handful of countries can even play the game?
It's a very real concern. And
Mm.
it's not just about, who has the most advanced weaponry. It's about the potential for an arms race, for increased tensions, instability on a global scale.
Wow. It's a lot to think about. We're talking about, like, a potential shift in the balance of power, all thanks to this thin strand of glass carrying pulses of light. It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is. And it underscores the importance of having these conversations, of understanding the implications of these technological advancements. Because the future of warfare isn't being decided on some distant battlefield. It's being shaped right now in labs and research facilities around the world.
And in the minds of people like you who are thinking critically about these issues, thanks for taking us on this deep dive. It's definitely given me a lot to ponder.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating, rapidly evolving field.
That's it for this deep dive. We hope this episode has shed some light on this fascinating and complex world of fiber optic drones and their impact on the future of warfare. Until next time.